Welcome to this explainer. We are diving straight into a massive shakeup happening right now in health tech. Practo is actually in talks to acquire HealthPlix. And listen, this isn't just your standard run-of-the-mill merger. It's a strategic play that completely redefines how these platforms operate. We're going to break down exactly what this means, why it's happening, and how it connects the totally separate systems of modern medical care. Okay, so it really all boils down to two distinct halves of the healthcare ecosystem, halves that honestly have historically been completely siloed off from one another. On one side, you've got patient discovery, how a patient actually finds a doctor, reads the reviews, and books an appointment. But then, on the flip side, you have clinic management. That's how the doctor manages their practice, records patient data, and writes out prescriptions once you're actually sitting in the room. For a long, long time, these two halves just operated in total isolation. But with this potential deal, these two massive domains are literally poised to collide. Section 1. The big health tech deal. So the word on the street, and widely reported across the sector, is that Practo is currently in deep discussions to acquire HealthPlix. To really grasp why this is such a monumental shift, you gotta think about the scale and the positioning of the players here. Practo basically owns the front door for millions of consumers, right? They're the go-to app for finding doctors and booking teleconsultations. HealthPlix, meanwhile, is the unseen engine running the back office as a specialized SaaS startup. And let me tell you, penetrating the B2B healthcare market is notoriously tough. So by setting its sights on HealthPlix, Practo isn't just looking to add some new users. They're making a calculated move to completely reshape the whole health tech ecosystem by instantly buying their way into the doctor's daily workflow.
Section 2. Understanding HealthPlix's EMR.
HealthPlix's absolute core strength is their EMR, or electronic medical records. You probably already know how critical these back-end systems are for comprehensive clinic management, storing complex patient histories, tracking long-term metrics, seamlessly issuing digital prescriptions, the whole shebang. But HealthPlix doesn't just dabble in this stuff. They absolutely dominate the space. And here's the kicker. Once a doctor integrates an EMR into their daily routine, it basically becomes the central nervous system of their entire practice. It is incredibly sticky software. It's essential infrastructure that these medical professionals rely on every single day.
Section 3. Why Practo needs HealthPlix.
Well, you've got Practo, which is fundamentally a B2C platform where the patient journey starts with discovery and booking. Then you have HealthPlix, which is strictly a B2B SaaS provider acting as that deep backend for the clinics. So why buy instead of build? Well, building a robust, medically compliant, and doctor-approved EMR system from the ground up, that takes years of development and trust building. Doctors are notoriously stubborn about adopting new software for patient health. So by acquiring HealthPlix, Practo gets to just bypass all those years of arduous development. They instantly acquire a captive, loyal audience of medical professionals who are already completely plugged into a proven system. Talk about a shortcut, right? By bridging this gap, we're connecting the patient's front-end journey directly to the doctor's back-end workflow. Think about it like this. Step 1, the patient discovers the doctor and books the appointment via Practo's slick consumer interface. Step 2, the patient arrives and the doctor manages the entire visit, accesses medical history, and writes the digital prescription all through HealthPlix. If Practo successfully pulls off this acquisition, these aren't two separate steps on disconnected platforms anymore. Suddenly, it becomes one continuous, uninterrupted loop of data. The friction just disappears. You get a completely seamless patient experience, and it significantly lightens the administrative burden for the doctor. It's a total win-win. Section 4. The health tech consolidation trend. Zooming out for a second, this potential acquisition is a literal textbook example of industry consolidation. First off, we're seeing this massive push toward merging B2C discovery platforms with heavy-duty B2B SaaS utilities. Companies are finally realizing that just owning the consumer isn't enough. You've got to own the infrastructure the doctors use too. Second, the industry is aggressively moving away from fragmented standalone apps. Let's be real, patients and doctors alike are totally exhausted by having to juggle 5 different systems just to manage one single health issue. And finally, the ultimate goal here is creating comprehensive end-to-end patient ecosystems. Because when you control the initial search, the booking, the medical record, and the prescription, you have effectively built a complete, self-sustaining digital healthcare infrastructure. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a critical question to think about. Who is the next target for acquisition in the health tech space? Because as the gap between consumer platforms and clinical software aggressively closes, and giants like Practo look to snap up crucial infrastructure, the landscape is shifting, and it's shifting fast. Which specialized startup is going to become the next massive puzzle piece for a larger ecosystem? The race to own the end-to-end patient journey has officially begun, and honestly, this is just the first major domino to fall. Thanks for joining me to explore this fascinating shift, and definitely keep your eyes on this space because it's only going to get more interesting from here.